Hey, it's Comic Artist Pro Secrets. I'm your host, Ethan Van Sciver, a comic book artist with 25 years of experience, and your friend, your Uncle Ethan. So this is Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews number 19. This is a series that I offer. It's paid for by my Patreon patrons, which I very much appreciate your support. I'm going to burn through a lot of these Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews. I think this week I've got quite a few portfolios that are lined up here to do. And I'm just in a mood to look at your work and and give you guys some pointers, because really we have a lot of talented people in this audience, a lot. Hey, I want you to meet Ross. Ross is an interesting case here. He's offered us, I think, 5 pages of Spider-Man artwork with a surprise guest star at the end. This looks like a Marvel submission that he's turned in. He's very professionally offered both the pencils and the inks. Now, you don't have to do this if you're going to send me a submission. By the way, if you want to send me a submission, the details for how to do that will be at the end of this video. So stay tuned. All right, so Ross has turned in beautiful pencil work. Let's look at this first. Now, this is kind of, this is an extremely, okay, look at this. No blacks are filled in here. Ross knows to kind of leave black areas open and mark them to be inked with an X. Why do people do that? Well, people tend to do that, pencilers, because they don't want, pencil lead smeared all over their artwork. And that's how some people feel about it. I use a very hard lead. I use a 3H. And 3H lead very rarely smears. If you're going to use a softer lead, if you're going to use something closer to B, like an HB or even a 2B, because you're that kind of a penciler, I would worry about smearing a little bit more. But the harder, more technical lead that I use, I would go ahead and just sketch in those black areas. Why? Because you want to keep your drawings balanced. Too much black in your panel, for the most part, unless it's done with like kind of a Batman Gothic effect. But if you use too much black and you use it inappropriately, you use it badly, it really is going to make it difficult to separate foreground from background. You're basically asking the colorist to color hold things. I'll talk about color holding as we go a little bit. Ross is a very good storyteller here, and I do like. Yeah, I wonder if Ross actually does like kind of thumbnails and blows them up and light boxes them, and then just kind of does the pencil work that way through a light box, because this is, it's incredibly clean. There's not a lot of sketching work here that you can see that's readily apparent. He really has just broken it down to the lines without line weights, and he's left it kind of like a paint by number sort of situation. With all blacks, there are no like black areas filled in at all, no shadows. It's all just left open this way. Some people do this. A lot of pencilers do this. I don't know if it saves time. It must save time. All right, so Ross is also quite handy at inking, and thank goodness he is, because I'd much rather look at finished inked artwork when it's balanced out this way. It's easier to focus on, it's easier to see what's going on. So we've got Peter Parker, we've got Mary Jane. Ross is actually doing a very cool job of drawing backgrounds, creating an environment for his characters to live in. I'm not so sure that the perspective is quite right. I'm going to have to look at this here. And we go through this together, all the time, where we're just kind of examining perspective and making sure that things kind of line up properly. I don't know what this is. I'm not sure if he's in a dresser. What, is he pulling out a drawer? What is he doing? Can't really tell. Whatever this is, it's huge. It's taller than Peter is. And that's kind of strange. And also, as you can see, Mary Jane sitting on the couch. It looks like now, the more we look at it, Mary Jane is floating in the air. If the horizon line is right here, and I think it is, because we see these lines meeting here with this line here, basically cut right down the middle of here. The horizon line meets him almost at the top of his head, okay? That allows Mary Jane, who is probably shorter than Peter, she is going to, the top of her head would kind of meet right here if she were standing, just a little bit beneath the horizon line. She's sitting, and yeah, she's sitting, and basically she's floating in the air. This couch is off the ground. That's what it appears like. It's a good use of 2-point perspective, but unfortunately, if Mary Jane were sitting right here, Peter's head should be all the way up here, like here, okay? So he should be filling the panel a lot more. Instead, he's been pushed down. He's either in a hole in the floor or something like that. So it's a good, I mean, I like the, I really do like the work, the background work. Their apartment is also very ratty. I don't know what this water stain is, but good Lord, they're impoverished. And maybe they are. Several points when Peter and Mary Jane were together, they were very poor. Okay, so good. I like this. Very nice. Very nice. We do have some. I could be hypercritical about the work that you're doing on faces here. And I guess that's what I'm supposed to do if this is a brutally honest portfolio review. There's a lot of just kind of strangeness. You do try to shoot faces from a lot of different angles, and sometimes you succeed. I mean, this looks okay. And then sometimes you the face changes as the angle changes. Quite an interesting panel right here. This reminds me of Kelly Jones. We had Kelly Jones on for an interview, a live interview, a few months ago, and he was spectacular. Kelly Jones uses this much kind of black shadow, and then, extreme highlight over the black shadow. Ross here is doing the same kind of thing. You look at this hand, which is just a white shape, in this blackness. And it really is kind of beautiful. I like this panel a lot. And I like this panel too. This is good storytelling. I'm not sure that I'm engaged with the characters, just because they look so odd from panel to panel. Their faces are not exactly beautiful. Use of perspective is goofy. I'm not sure what this background is here at all. We turn around behind them, and the wall is black here, and then suddenly the entire, okay. All right, it doesn't matter that much. You are going to need to work on your faces, Ross. You have to. Remember that the faces of your heroes and your characters in the book are people are responding to them. If they're unpleasant to look at, or if they're strange, like Peter's kind of squished head here, you've got Peter's head and his eyes are literally right around, a little lower than halfway down on the head, where really they should be. Here's his eyebrow up here. Let me see, I'll just draw it right on there. His eyebrow's up here. His eye should be, right there, much higher on the head. You've given a little boy's face on a man's head. This is great. I really like this, even though she looks a little too old. Very, very good acting. Good job. Good job. Let's see what we got next here. All right. I love it. Love it. You guys are so talented. We've got this great pencil shot. Look at this, of Spider-Man doing a little flip. I like this pose here. And then just jumping backwards. Now, I'm seeing it again. We're using an awful lot of blacks here. An awful lot of just silhouetted buildings. And I'm wondering, I like it like this. As I look at this, I like it balanced out to this degree, where the buildings are, like white shapes. A little bit of shadow here and there. But for the most part, this is the balance that I like, because it really makes Spider-Man, who is going to be dark. He's got some colors on his legs here, on his body. These kind of shadowy shapes. This is going to make him pop off the background more. It's going to make him 3D. Now, if you're adding dark shadows in there, This isn't Batman. Spider-Man is going to get lost, and I'll show you that when we actually look at the inks, and you'll see that your Uncle Ethan is right as usual. Same thing here. I mean, you've got so many. Really, if you all right, in your head, you need to be thinking, all right, so how do we make this superhero pop off the background? And you're looking at the balance of dark versus light on his body here, and you've got so much black, so much shadow on this form, that it's going to immediately separate him from a lighter background. So if you were to just kind of sketch in the background like you've done here, without these X's, just get rid of these X's, and just let the inker have this, Spider-Man is going to pop right off of there. What's going to happen is, if you do blacken in these buildings, Spider-Man is going to be consumed by them. And you would be asking your colorist, and your colorist will do this, to color hold the background, which means essentially he's going to turn these buildings, like the black in the buildings, he's going to turn them into a different color. So he's going to push them back by turning them brown or blue or something, which is going to separate this color black from this color black, thus making him pop. You can do that to him if you want to, but really, why not just, remember my foreground, midground, background rule, which is, one of, you've got black, you've got gray, you've got white, you've got those three colors to work with. So, make sure that each one, as a good rule of thumb, chooses one of those and sticks to it. You've got, your foreground here, Spider-Man. So if you want to have him be kind of black, that's fine. The building should then be gray, and then your background, which I guess is this open sky, is white. Instead you've got black on black, and then a white sky. It's going to look confusing. Good panel here of Spider-Man just sitting. So much darkness. Hitting this helicopter. He's watching a silhouetted helicopter, and he hits the helicopter with webbing. Oh, I like that foot. And we are following the helicopter, and oh boy, this is, I can already see. Ross, let's take a look at the inks. All right, it's as I thought. It's hard to see. Oops, my hand's in there. It's hard to see Spider-Man. He's lost in these shapes, isn't he? See the black of his legs here? You see he's lost. And it's not until he jumps out into the sky, which is white, that he kind of reemerges from the shadows. I really do think it would have been a more effective panel had you left these buildings white. I like these streaks in the sky. It's all very nicely inked, don't get me wrong, but you're burying your lead character here. All right, and the same thing's happening here. Spider-Man is not popping out of this background. He's lost in it. And I do like your inking. It's very old-fashioned. Might be a little bit much here and there. It's all the same. You're doing blacks and pull-outs of the blacks. There aren't, look at this. It's John Romita Jr. right in here. Interesting. This is really good here. I like this. That works. This doesn't work for some reason. And it's because Spider-Man is lost. You buried him. I'm checking. I would like to see about the anatomy here. I like this. That's fine. This leg troubles me. That leg is wrong. But it doesn't matter. I can't, until this is colored, I'm not going to be able to make heads or tails out of it. Ross, why do this to yourself? Basically, you're doing all this extra work, all this extra texture, and at the end of the day, you're burying the action. We're losing what's happening here. It's a very simple thing. Spider-Man is shooting a web at the helicopter, and then we have this gibberish here. This is all noise that doesn't need to be there. It's confusing the eye. So we got Spider-Man flying behind the helicopter there. And again, yeah, I knew this was going to happen. Just buried in that. And the colorist is going to work really hard to separate your character out from your background. A way that you could have done this is then to just rebalance Spider-Man by taking the black out of his costume a little bit more. If you've got heavy blacks here, you want to have kind of lighter blacks here to pull him out. That might have helped. All right, let's see the next page here. I have a feeling we're gonna. I'm just gonna tell you the same thing over and over again. So I'll try to skip that. In general, Ross, you've got way too much dark. Think of your art as, hi-fi stereo. I mean, if that still is a thing, it's sound. There's bass and there's treble. It's like you really need to balance those things. And you're all about that bass, Ross. You're all about that bass. No treble. So yeah, let's see. I can't really tell what's going on here. It's nice to see Spider-Man so clearly. I guess this is the helicopter. He's still following it. This panel here is going to be the perfect example of what you're doing, where you're kind of going wrong. This is all you need. This sky should not be there. You can have the silhouetted buildings down there because they're not touching or affecting or drawing the eye away from Spider-Man and the helicopter. This would have been perfect. Just leave this white. Leave it white. Okay, we're still having very kind of anime influence on your faces, but everything else is very realistic. It's a stylistic choice that you're taking. I don't know if it pays off particularly, especially, really, this is wonderful realism. Yeah, we get a little kind of Joe Quesada right here. Very, very nice. And close-up of Spider-Man's eye, which here is quite appropriate. It works. A lot of people do close-ups of eyes for no reason. This is Spider-Man. He's realizing that something awful is happening here. He's reacting to something. So it's a good thing to zoom in on his eye and then to pull way back again and show the jeopardy that he's in. Helicopter's exploding. He's attached to it. I guess this is the water down here. He's going to crash. All right, so let's see. Again, great penciled page, which if I were the inker, I would have, even though this looks cool, I would have torn it all out. I know, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when you put this kind of work into texture, and yeah, it's fighting you. It really is. It's fighting the helicopter. It's fighting Spider-Man. It doesn't belong there. Oh, Ross, you're doing so good. Like, there's so much good stuff in your work. My advice to you is, okay, do less. This is actually pretty cool. I like this. This works. And you can see Spider-Man kind of against this white. This works terrifically. Man, I wish you'd work on your faces. Yeah. And here's that Joe Quesada panel inked. Looks good. Close-up of Spider-Man's eye. Looks good. Look at this. Look at these kind of like... And then shadow right under the webbing there. Yeah. Very good. That's very modern. Great. This is good. This is good. Again, the trick is, Ross? The trick is to keep Spider-Man away from all of these tangents here. This smoke trail here, I would have moved it away from his arm. You want to keep him free and clear as much as possible so that he's not fighting any of the background elements. We want to see him perfectly. Yeah. Good. Next page. God, that's tragic, though. That panel kills me right there. Just kills me. All right, let's see what we got next. right. And I mean, again, when I go back and forth from your inked pages to your pencil pages, it gets even more clear. I mean, it's like, yeah, this is what I want. This is almost what I want to see your pages look like inked. Get in there and, fill in the blacks on Spider-Man and leave the backgrounds like this. Let the colorists do that. Let the colorists put the work in there to decide, using a color palette about darks and lights. Your job, you're using black. So use black to accentuate your Spider-Man and let the colorists take it from there. I mean, look how much better that looks. It's easier to read. It's much easier to read. Spider-Man falls into the water. Man, once again, rip all this black out. Explosion. Spider-Man's hand. That's a great looking hand. Nice burst out of the water. Yeah. Is he swimming here? I see his foot. Okay, I see his arm. Yeah. And we got his point of view shot as he climbs out of the water. And, look, he's trying to get up on the dock. And we see two silhouetted figures meeting him here against the explosion of the background. Yeah, and this is an appropriate use of black shadow right here, I think. All right, let's see how it looks when you ink it. Let's see how that turned out. It's just so much. It's so heavily inked. So heavily inked, and you're good. I mean, I would let you ink my stuff. I think, and it would look nice. And I would just kind of force you with my pencils to restrain yourself with the amount of dark that you put down. Because this is great. I like this a lot. It does remind me. It's very Brazilian. The way Ivan Rice and those guys like their work inked. That's what it reminds me of. Good. Look at the white around Spider-Man's figure here. That's great. This is all confusing. Spider-Man just kind of floating in the water. All right. And there's the swimming panel. Climbing out. Good. This is perfect right here. Let's get a better look at that. That's a perfect panel. Actually, both of these panels are really, really perfect. This is okay too. I can't really make out Spider-Man too well. But yeah, listen. This is very, very exciting. Great job, Ross. Great job. All right, so let's go to the pencils first. Spoiler alert, the man helping Spider-Man out of the water is our friend Captain America. Again, you've put a child's face on an adult's head. See how you've done that? Look at how, here's the head, and you've smashed his little face down to the lower second half there. It's all very tiny. It's not very, I don't know, it doesn't show age. But also, it's just, the eye line should be right here. Okay? The eyes are really low. They should be up here. Nose right there. Mouth a little lower. Good. Good Spider-Man. Really good Spider-Man. Faces. No. Great acting. Good storytelling. Faces are a serious problem. They're a detriment to your work. They're gonna get you not hired. And it's a shame. It's like, okay, so when an editor looks at this and sees the terrific storytelling and then just sees like, your characters though, they don't look so good. He's only going to be looking at these faces, because the faces are, again, what engages the reader. You look at the faces and then you look at the form. I think just like we human beings do with each other. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah. Great. A lot of black as usual. That's your thing. Captain America's face, absolutely a problem. I don't know. Are you inking these faces with a brush? Look, Ross, get in there with a pen. Do the faces, do the detail work, the faces with a pen. You don't have to use a brush. You know? Yeah. Good. Like I said, Spider-Man looks great. And then Captain America giving orders. Look at this great pose, great posture. I like this. Yeah, and that face just kills it. Just kills it dead. Is that it? That's it. All right. I mean, very happy. I'm very pleased. Ross, your work, your storytelling is great. You draw superheroes really well. As I've said in this review, you need to strip out all of the blacks that you're doing here, all these darks, especially. I mean, there's a time when that might be good. Batman, that might be good. Spider-Man's not good. It's not good. It's just fighting him. It's slowing him down. I mean, so much of Batman is about dark, wind, rain, hiding in shadows. And Spider-Man is the opposite. I mean, he needs to move around. And you picture like these heavily inked backgrounds as just tar, just mud that's holding him, that's sticking him in place. That's the visual effect of all this darkness. And we need desperately to work on our faces. Desperately. We have to. We got to fix this because that is this is our crowd. These are our guys. When he puts on the mask, he looks, obviously you're Spider-Man, much easier to draw this kind of thing and make it look true to form, It's pretty boilerplate, but when, you've got to show somebody actually with a human face, you've got trouble. So Ross, you can do this. These are things that you can fix. This is going to take, it's going to take a year of hard work, I think, to really just straighten out your faces. I think you're going to need photo reference, a lot of photo reference, and stay true to it. If you have to trace photos for a little while just to retrain yourself, as to where everything goes. And that is a real thing. I mean, people do have trouble because once you start making certain mistakes, you're going to make them over and over and over again. It becomes second nature to you, and then you kind of double down on those mistakes. It gets worse and worse. So, a time should come where you pull back and you get some tracing paper out and you retrain yourself to do it correctly. Okay, minor perspective issues, but I'm so happy that you do so much background work and really ground the scene. I knew where we were the whole time through this story. I totally felt where we were, and that is a successful storyteller. So great job, Ross. Great job. All right, so that was Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews 19. Hey, do you want your portfolio reviewed? Absolutely. Send me 4 to 6 pages of storytelling. Ross went the extra mile with the pencils and inks. You don't have to. You can send me whatever you want as long as it's sequential art, no pinups, no covers. Send it to Ethan, ETHAN 12032 @gmail.com, or you can send me 4 to 6 pages of your art on Twitter via DM. My Twitter handle is @EthanVanSciver. Make sure you follow me there. I do want to thank all of my Patreon donors. Are you guys patrons? I think that's the way it works. That's the lingo. Your funding does go to, your donations does go to support programming like this, content like this on the channel. And I do want to thank everyone who hits likes on my video, and everyone who subscribes. This channel is blowing up, and I know it's in a lot of it is because of the Star Wars kick I'm on right now. It's just fun. I'm really enjoying making these kind of satire critic videos, but I will get right back to doing the art. I think that is what my longtime loyal subscribers are here for, and I will not neglect you. That would be selfish. So I will do my work. I will eat my vegetables. I will help you. I will look at your portfolios. Let's see. Also, I've got an issue of Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps out on the stands. I think it's next week, but here it is. It's number 42. This is a variant cover by Tyler Kirkham. I'll probably get back. Do people like it when I do commentaries on my work? I'm not sure if you guys like that as much as you like portfolio reviews. And I'm trying to give you the content art-wise that you're responding to. if you do, I mean, just let me know in the comments. Like, it's very easy for me to do commentary on my comic books, but if it's not the content that you would, you want to see more of, I'll pull back from that and we'll focus more on this. Drawing videos will be coming back. I am working to finish up some work at DC, and deadlines are crazy right now. But I'm doing a lot of commissions via my eBay, which is Cyber59, and I do want to film those and talk you through them. So this is all coming up. Thank you, everyone, very kindly for your support, and I'll see you again for Brutally Honest Portfolio Reviews number 20 milestone. Take care.